Hi students, this is the first chapter in your first PU business studies. So first chapter is divided into two sections. First section is history and trade of commerce and the second section is nature and purpose of business. So we'll see in detail. You will be very familiar with the term business, okay, very common term which we are using in our daily lives. So we'll see in detail what is business. So here comes section 1, history of trade and commerce in. So all human beings require different types of goods and services to satisfy their needs or wants. So some people started to produce and sell what is needed by others. This is how they started trading or started to produce and sell goods. So business is a major economic activity which concerned with the production and sale of goods and services required by people. So business is not only buying and selling of goods, but here producing and exchanging services also. The purpose behind most business activities is to earn money by meeting people's demand for goods and services. So main aim of every business is earning money or profit. That is why business is called as economic activity. So Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were the commercial cities in ancient India. Okay. So now we are going to see about indigenous banking system. So indigenous banking system means private firms or individuals operate as banks. It is not government institutions or nothing like that. People, individuals or private firms which operates as banks. They function like a bank. So in the ancient system, they started using metal as money because of its durability. And also they used documents like chitti, hundi. So what is hundi? We'll see in detail. Hundi is an instrument of exchange. Okay, it is an instrument of exchange. When they wanted to buy and sell goods, instead of using money, they use this document. And it involved a contract which warrants the payments of money later or in future. So next is workshops. So it is known as karkhana. Okay, karkhana. R is missing there. It is karkhana. Karkhana. So in the workshops, there were skilled artisans, craftsmen, skilled laborers, etc. Then comes the intermediaries. Intermediaries are the middlemen. Okay, these intermediaries helped to promote the trade. Trade means exchange of goods and services. These intermediaries includes commission agents, brokers, distributors, etc. Next, about the transport. So the main transport, what they used in the ancient times, mainly land and water. So for land transport, why they used mainly for inland trade and trade overland, okay, with the other land or other countries. Then water, it is also known as maritime trade, the important branch of global network. This is water transport is the important branch of global network. This is used. So these are the major trade centers in ancient India. One is Patliputra, that is a Patna now. Then Peshawar, then Taxila, Indraprastha, Mathura, then Varanasi, Mithila, Ujjain, Surat and Kanchi. So now we are going to see in detail the second part, section 2, which deals with the nature and purpose of business. Okay, so business, trade. So this is about nature and concept of business. So we in the first slide we saw about the human activities. Okay, so all human beings require different types of goods and services to satisfy their needs. So our lives are influenced by many other institutions like schools, colleges, hospitals, religious bodies, etc. But business has the major influence in our daily lives. The purpose behind most business activities is to earn money by meeting people's demand for goods and services. So, what is human activity? Human activities are those activities which a human being does to meet his requirements. So, human activities can be classified into two types: economic and non-economic activity. So, what do you mean by economic activity? Economic activities are those activities which a person does with the objective of earning money, mainly earning money. So, example, a worker working in a factory, a manager working in an office, etc. So, here economic activities can be classified again into three sections: business, profession, and employment. So, again, business in a very small way we'll explain here. Business is an economic activity mainly concerned with production and distribution of goods and services to earn profit. Examples: manufacturing, banking, transportation, etc. All these are examples for business. Next is profession. So, what is profession? Profession is an economic activity concerned with rendering specialized knowledge or services to others for fees. Example: lawyers, doctors, accountant, etc. Next is employment. So, employment is an economic activity under which people work for others in return of salary or wages. Example: a worker working in a factory. So, here two terms are there: employer and employee. So, who is an employer? Employer is the person who appoints people to do work under them. Okay, employer is a person who appoints people to do work under him. And who is an employee? Employee is a person who is appointed under employer to do the work for the employer. We'll go in detail what is business, profession, and employment. So, first about business. So, here comes one definition according to Professor R.N. Owens. According to him, business is an enterprise engaged in production and distribution of goods for sale in the market or rendering services for a price. Okay, this is what business according to Professor R.N. Owens. The meaning is, in simple terms, business is an economic activity concerned with production and distribution of goods and services for the purpose of earning profit. Now we will see the characteristics or features of business. The first feature is economic activity. So, business is an economic activity which involves production and distribution of goods and services with the purpose of earning money, that is profit. So, whichever human activity concerned with earning money or which is concerned with money is called as economic activity. Next point is production and procurement of goods and services. Every business must either produce goods it deals with or acquire goods from producers to be further sold to customers. So, goods may be consumer goods, producer goods, etc. So, what do you mean by consumer goods? Consumer goods are goods used for the final consumption. Okay, consumer goods are goods which are used for final consumption. Example: sugar, pencil, ghee, etc. These are some examples. Okay, there are many examples. Next is producer goods. So, producer goods are goods which are used for the production of another goods. I'll repeat. Producer goods are goods which are used for the production of consumer goods. Example: tools, machineries, etc. So, services. What do you mean by services? Services includes facilities offered to the consumers like transportation, banking, insurance. So, business is not only selling goods but also exchanging or giving services for money. Next point is sale or exchange for value. So, business involves production, purchase, sale, and transfer of goods and services for value, that is for money. If goods are consumed by the if goods are consumed by the producers, it cannot be called as a business activity. Next point, regular dealings. Business involves dealings in goods and services on a regular basis. one single transaction does not considered as a business. Next is profit motive. The main motive of every business is to earn profit. Profit is essential for its survival, growth, and expansion. So businessmen work hard to maximize the profit by increasing the sale and reducing the cost. Next point is element of risk. Business involves element of risk. Risk means the possibility of loss arising from uncertainty. There is no business without risk. The degree of risk differs from business to business. Risk arises due to a variety of causes like fire, theft, natural calamities, strike in the workplace, etc. And the last feature is capital investment. Business requires investment of money. Business may be small or large. Investment of capital is must for every business. The amount of money invested by the owner in the business is called as capital. I'll repeat, the initial investment which is made by the owner in the business is called as capital. Hope the features of business is clear to you. Next is the profession, the meaning of profession. Profession is an economic activity concerned with rendering specialized knowledge and services to others for fees. Example, doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants, etc. So we'll see in detail the features of profession. Profession involves rendering of personal services. Again, profession requires specialized knowledge, training and practices. Next, profession must have a representative professional association. Like example, Medical Council of India for doctors, then Bar Council of India for lawyers. Next point, every professional must compulsorily enroll himself as a member of his professional association. So enrollment is compulsory. The last point is members of the professional body are bound to follow a code of conduct prescribed by his professional body. Next, we are going to see about employment. So employment is an economic activity under which people work for others in return of remuneration called wages or salaries. So wages are normally daily basis and salaries on monthly basis. So example, workers working in a factory, manager in an office, teachers in school, etc. So we'll see the features of employment. So employment involves rendering of services. Okay, here also they are rendering services. Next point, in employment there is a relationship between employer and employee or master and servant. Next, the service is provided by the employee under the contract of employment. Next, the employee works according to the terms and conditions in the employment contract. Next point, the employer may be an individual, a company or a government. And the last point is the reward or return in employment is wages or salary. Hope the features of employment is clear to you. So the last slide is a comparison of business, profession and employment. Okay, definitely these three are not same. There are many differences. So we will see. So the first column is the basis of difference, then business, profession and employment. So the first point, mode of establishment, how they start. So in business can start after completing the legal formalities. Okay, if any, if you wanted to start a small vegetable shop, there won't be much legal formalities. So it is on the basis of the size and nature of your business, legal formalities will vary. Then profession can start after getting a certificate of practice and membership of a professional body. And in employment begins with the appointment letter and service agreement. Second main point, nature of work. Under business, production and distribution of goods and services to the public. Then under profession, providing personal and expert service on the employment, performing work according to the contract. Third point, qualification. So in business, no minimum qualification is required. Under profession, professional skill and experience is must. Under employment, as prescribed by the employer. Then fourth point is capital investment. In business, capital is required as per the size and nature of business. Under profession, very less investment for the establishment. And under employment, no capital investment is required. Fifth point, risk. In business, it involves risk. Under profession, risk is less. Employment, there is no risk or very little. Then the sixth point, reward or return. So in business, the reward is called as profit. In profession, the reward or the return is called fees. And in employment, it is salary or wages. Seventh point, objective. So in every business, the main objective is profit making. Again in profession, profit making but through services. Under employment, earning salary or wages. Eighth point is code of conduct. In business, there is actually no code of conduct. Under profession, professional code of conduct to be followed. And the last one, employment, terms and conditions prescribed by the employer. And the last point in the basis of difference, transfer of interest or ownership. Interest means the ownership. So under business, it is possible. The transfer of ownership or interest is possible with some formalities. Under profession, it is not at all possible. Even in the employment, the transfer of interest or ownership is not possible. Hope the comparative study of business, profession and employment is clear. Thank you.